insecurity is constantly growing. Around 805 million people in the world do not have enough food to live a healthy life.
Poor nutrition causes nearly half of deaths in children under 5, 3.1 million children per year worldwide. 66 million primary school-aged children attend classes hungry across the developing world. This is with 23 million in Africa alone.
Asia is the continent with the most hungry people, 2/3 of the total.
However, sub-Saharan Africa is the region with the highest prevalence of hunger. 1 person in 4 there is malnourished. It has been calculated that $3.2 billion per year is needed to reach all 66 million hungry school-aged children.
Hunger is one of the most well-known rising issues. It impacts society on a global scale. The exponential rise in population has in turn caused a spike in hunger-related fatalities. We sent our field reporter, Tyler Graves, to interview a teacher here at our local high school in order to obtain a first-hand account of what life in Africa is really like.
William Miners. Now, did you live in Africa?
Yes, certainly I did.
So, where and how long did you live there?
When I was 2 years old, we moved to the country of Kenya, and we lived there until I graduated from high school.
Now, as I'm sure you're aware, the biggest process here that we're trying to cover is hunger. Now, did you personally have any episodes where you experienced hunger or witnessed hunger amongst your peers?
I was quite fortunate that I did not experience too much hunger, but I saw many people that were very hungry there in Africa. Yeah.
Do you have any personal stories you'd like to share, or would that be?
I would say one of the times I saw a lot of hunger was when I went to the area of Turkana, which is in northern Kenya. And there in Turkana, there is not much food, not much rain, it's almost like a desert. There were many people there, they were experiencing some hunger. And little children, if you ever see a child who has not eaten in a long time, their belly starts to get big. And it's quite sad to see them. And those kids, they're so funny too, because they would come and they would squeeze us, and they would push our arms and they would say, "It feels like water," because their arms were so skinny, it's just like the bones. So you don't feel all that muscle and fat, and so they say, "You feel like water."
Now, I know the scale is a lot smaller here in America, say it would be in Africa, but would you say they all compare, more specifically here in Murphy?
I'm sure there are people here who are hungry, not at the same level there. I think here in America, they can get some food, and maybe they are not hungry for as long of a time as in Africa. But you know, even just you try and just be hungry for one day, and you will start to feel big effects of that.
It sounds to me like accessibility is the biggest problem, whereas where you grew up and in other villages nearby, there wasn't a way to get anything. There wasn't a way to out of the hunger.
Yeah, in many places in Africa, you know, people they have to grow their food, and they can't just go to Ingles or Walmart and buy some food. So if the rains don't come, then they don't have food. And sometimes the government or United Nations or United States, they can send some aid to those places, but there's so much corruption that sometimes the government, the people distributing that food, they just take it and sell it and keep the money for themselves, and people are starving. And then sometimes also you have problems with security. So these trucks with food, they get stopped and raided by some terrorists or someplace, you know. That place in Turkana is close to Somalia. So in Somalia, there's many bandits, they come and just steal that food. And they don't care about children that are starving.
While world hunger is a pressing issue, many people are oblivious to the fact that it is also a local issue. Hunger is everywhere, even here in Cherokee County. Here's Patrick and Foster with some statistics, facts, and information on the growing hunger problem in Cherokee County. In 2014, the total annual cost of the food stamp program was around $70 billion.
In 2013, 14% of households, 17.5 million households, were food insecure.
For the year 2014, about 46 million people received food stamps.
80% of NC households with children and receiving food assistance don't know where their next meal is coming from.
In North Carolina, 28% of food pantries have to turn clients away because of their lack of food.
35% of hungry families have had to choose between paying for food and paying for their rent and mortgage.
28% of children live food insecure lives.
Number of children eligible for free and reduced school meals is 5,738.
The overall percent of the population in Cherokee County that is food insecure is 18%.
The number in population who are food insecure is 4,780.
Hey Patrick.
Yes.
Did you know that we waste almost $18,000 on summer lunch programs?
What?
Yeah. Did you even know we had summer lunch programs?
No.
Someone should really advertise that.
We should. Right now.
Hey guys, thanks for all those stats. And while you were out gathering that information, I sent an email to Christy Barong, and she is the Income Maintenance Unit Director for Cherokee County as a whole. And I sent her some questions and maybe we could get a grasp on some of the statistics around in the area, and that way maybe we could have a better understanding of the current situation that we're in here in Cherokee County. Now, the first question that we asked Christy was, percentage-wise, how many people need EBT? And her response to me was, Cherokee County currently has 4,926 food and nutrition service recipients and over 2,000 households. Now, Cherokee County's population is just over 27,000 people. So approximately 18% of people receive electronic benefit transfers countywide. Next I ask, is everyone that is insecure or in need of food able to be helped? And she responded by saying, we help every customer who qualifies according to food and nutrition guidelines. If we cannot help them, we do refer them to a local food bank or food pantry. And I finished off with asking her, would you say that the problem of food insecurity has gotten better or worse over the past few years? And she says, yes, in fact, Food and Nutrition Services has grown from 2,074 households receiving benefits to 2,312 households receiving benefits in the past 2 years. And 5 years ago, the household receiving benefits was only 1,439. So it's increased exponentially in the past few years.
Since local hunger is a problem, some people are trying their best to solve it. The most prominent way people are trying to fix it is through their use of food banks. Once again, we sent Tyler Graves to interview Rob Rollins, one of the overseers at a local food bank.
I'm here with Rob Rollins from the United Methodist Church here in Murphy, and I came to ask him a few questions. So Rob, thank you for giving me some of your time.
Absolutely, glad to be here.
I wanted to ask you, what kind of donations are made here at the church, and how exactly do these donations help the public? How do they get to and fro?
Specifically for the Sharing Center?
Yes.
The Sharing Center receives funds from a variety of sources. From local congregations, from individuals who have a passion for food insecurity. We receive funds from the Duke Endowment and from the United Way. They're, generally speaking, are individuals in the community who believe that they can make a difference, one person at a time. And so individuals make contributions as well as others. We receive food also from Manna, which is a food bank in Asheville. We also receive food from Walmart and from Ingles. That is food that perhaps is still usable, but is not sellable, maybe out of date or close to being out of date. And then we also purchase food from Save-A-Lot here through some of the monetary donations we receive.
Right.
So that's how that happens.
Now, so this is the United Church here in Murphy is not the only church around that's helping out with this food bank? Or
not at all. There are partner churches that help us, the Presbyterian Church. There are Friendship Baptist Church out in the Hiwassee Dam area. We're partners. The Shepherd of the Mountain Church is a partner. The Episcopal Church, Seventh-day Adventist, I believe, the St. William Catholic Church is involved, as well as the Church of the Latter-day Saints.
Right. Now, if you could give me a roundabout, how many people do you think are affected, or not necessarily affected would be the word to say, but helped by the donations made and by the food that is?
Specifically, I can't answer that question. I can tell you that it often is associated with economic crisis or needs. There's specific data that I can provide you that you can do fill in the blanks with that.
Right.
But what we notice is that in economic difficult times, food insecurity becomes one of the first indicators because it is a basic need. If we don't have someplace to stay, if we don't have something to eat, then that's the first line of defense that usually is breached. So that's one of the things that we notice, that when persons are in difficult economic times. I've served in other places, and I can tell you that Cherokee County is unique in that many people here have a strong sense of personal pride that often prohibits them from coming to seek assistance. So often the people that we do see are the elderly, or who have some disability, or who have a dependent care of children or the aged. So these are persons that don't have the capacity of often providing for themselves. There's always the belief in society that persons that are coming seeking assistance are scamming the system. Right. And that probably is true because human nature is such that, you know, that can happen. But I believe here we probably miss on the other side. And that is, there are a lot of people out there that could benefit who, because of personal pride or integrity, choose not to.
Right. So how is the food distributed from the church to people who are in need?
This is a distribution site, so people come here on Tuesdays and Fridays. One of the real issues that often comes with being food insecure is transportation. And so perhaps something we might think about in the future would be remote distribution sites. There is one in Andrews. There is not one in Hiwassee Dam, or as far as I know, in Topton. So there are some issues in Cherokee County that might be addressed if we could find a remote distribution site, perhaps another church or a fire department or something like that.
Right. Well, Rob, I just want to tell you that I'm all up for everything that you do here. I'm a big supporter. I'm sure everybody else here is, and we really want to thank you for everything you've done. We want to thank you for the ground that you paved, you know, for other churches and for other organizations to get behind and really support. And I just want to thank you for everything
Absolutely.
that you're doing, and to keep
Thank
on
you
doing.
guys, and good luck on your endeavors.
Hey guys, thanks for viewing our presentation on world hunger. We hope that maybe we can shed a little bit of light on the subject and maybe open up some eyes and really give people some exposure to what's really going on here and what's really going on worldwide, and how it all ties together and how we can really work together in order to make the world a better place.
Yeah, I guess we haven't really gotten to just say what we think needs to be said yet. Something that Pat and I kind of joked around about was the $18,000 that's wasted on summer lunch programs. And I got to thinking about it, and kind of like, you wonder why that much money is wasted, and then you think, well, it's not advertised enough. And the people that would think that are the people that don't need it, because I've never heard of it, but I don't necessarily need it. But then you go to the idea, like Rob Rollins said when we interviewed him, transportation, accessibility. Money that's wasted on the food itself could be used to use different locations, help reach out more, instead of just having one central location that no one can reach.
Because the people that need it most aren't necessarily the people that can get it right away.
Right.
The people who need it most are the people we got to go out and find ourselves, the people we got to actually make an effort to help
more so, because they're not just going to be the ones that are going to try to mooch off of what's being handed to what people are really trying to do for the good. So we really need to look and broaden our horizons and really try to find somebody who's going to help out. And that somebody can be you. And it's really necessary that we all get behind this, push forward, and really try to make it a bigger initiative.
It's real easy to easy to ignore the problems that are all around us in our local community and in the world. And so you have to remember that and keep an eye out and try to do your best to help improve everyone's lives, including your own.
JD?
I got third place in this game.
Guys, it's going to wrap it up for what we've done here today. We want to thank everybody for viewing. We want to encourage everybody else to really do some research, really get behind this, and try to make the world a better place.
Let me just retake that. It's real easy to ignore the problems.
Who's laughing? You're going to have to cut that now.
Oh, we good. Just start talking.
Let's start with Pat.
Just keep it going, baby. Whenever you want. Anytime. Anytime. Anytime you want to turn it off. So we asked her questions, and she answered, gave us responses, which is what we wanted. Now we know, and we don't have to worry about just guessing, because we know facts. Because if you're going to ask somebody, you might as well ask the source, because she's going to know more than anybody. Okay? Anybody else in the whole county, she's going to know. She will know. And we won't. But now we do. So now, there's like 6 people in the whole county who know these facts, and we're one of them. And now you're one of them. You know the facts. We know the facts. She knows the facts. We're a better world because of her. Okay? We're a better world because of us. You're a better person. Now you make the world a better place.